Ladies and gentlemen, we are back on the Alpha Network as the admins have decided to make a ton of balance changes which will be affecting your builds. On top of this, Minikloon is showing off some further parts of the Rift update, and honestly, it's getting pretty strange. My name is Derailious, welcome back to Skyblock News, and let's launch right into it. So, considering that the majority of these changes revolve around attributes, let's get right into it. So, Vitality got nerfed from 3 per tier to 2 Vitality per tier. Fortitude is now a percentage-based buff instead of a multiplier. Combo works without your Grandma Wolf pet equipped, but existing in your pet menu. Elite now increases damage dealt to mythological creatures, and Dominance now works at 90% health instead of requiring 100%. I think this is a great change, should have been done a long time ago. Mana Steal now procs on kill instead of every hit, and has been renamed to Mana Recovery. Pretty big nerf there. I'm not too in tune with specific balance changes. I think this one is probably somewhat necessary, but once again, it's a pretty big hit, and the Hunter attribute has been buffed from 0.1 to 0.3 sea creature chance per tier. Great stuff for fishers. I know you guys are going to be so happy about that one. The Mana Pool perk has been reduced from 20 intel to 10 per tier, and Aurora Armor has been buffed with increased ability damage. This one is pretty great for Aurora Armor in specific. Great stuff here. Mana Regen has been increased from 1 to 1.25% per tier. I think they should just make this 1.5. It'd be easier to understand for the average player instead of the 1.25, which I don't really feel like is a super significant buff, at least not at the lower tiers. They also made some other changes which we'll get into now. In terms of dungeons, we got a few changes. The Mage Beam is now affected by attack speed, which is a buff. The hitbox of mobs when using Mage Beam has been increased, which is a buff. The Mage Beam range has been extended further for the M7 Dragon Fight, which is a huge buff. And they increased Storm's defense in M7 by 50%, which I think is pretty neat. They also made it so that Mana Steal and Lifesteal enchants proc off of magic weapon hits, which is a mage buff. They made it so Lifesteal and Siphon enchants no longer conflict with Mana Steal, which is another mage buff, and they also made some back-end profile changes, which is not a mage buff, but hey, everything else is, so it might as well be. Really crazy stuff here. I think Mage needed some mild improvements, especially in the higher tiers of Master Mode, when Archer is absolutely obliterating, but once again, I am not a Dungeons pro, and everything I say here is probably best left unsaid, because once again, not some sort of gamer god over here. Interesting changes. I wonder how they're going to play out, and we'll see some, more important build crafting videos probably coming from people who are better than me. Last on our list, we have something from Minikloon, which is a new image and also a skin found on Magicloon. The Magicloon skin is kind of indescribable. I mean, look at it. I think it has bunny ears. I think it's a bunny, but I could be entirely wrong, and I have no idea what I'm looking at, so I'm going to leave it at that. There was also an image shown that says "Great minds think alike" from a character called Dakinoru, and it's also in a bar with a character called Shifted, which I think is interesting, has Shifty's face, and also he is a skeleton. I have no idea what's going on in this image. It is completely incomprehensible, but hey, as is most Minikloon teasers. So yeah, that's really all we got from the Rift update. In terms of the balance changes, I do think that the majority of them are really good for the game. Obviously, some things are going to need to be changed around when you're trying to make the system apply to all items in the game instead of just a few. And I do think the changes they made are fairly reasonable. Some of the changes to Mana Steal I feel like are a little bit much. I would like to see maybe, not necessarily some reversion on that, but getting some more mana back every time you get a kill would be pretty neat. But regardless, I do think these changes are great. They're going to make more people able to use underutilized attributes right about now, which is really awesome to see. Also, the leaks, the teasers, always great stuff from Minikloon, basically coming out on a daily basis at this point, and I don't really have anything else to say beyond that. At the end of the day though, my name is Derailious, thank you so much for watching this video till the end, and look to the future fellas, because I will see you then.